What's up, everybody? Josie here. I want to do a review of Logan, which I saw this morning, and I was gonna do the review after the movie, but I had to go to work, and so I literally drove from the movie theater to work, and so I was not able to do the review earlier. But it actually gave me the perfect amount of time to sit on the film, I guess, to really think about it and compose my thoughts and think of exactly how I feel about the movie. So I'm gonna try and do it without any spoilers. So just anything that you haven't seen on the trailer, I'll try not to spoil for you, just because there are a lot of surprises in the movie, and there are a lot of surprises. Um, So the story basically revolves around uh Wolverine or Logan, and this is years in the future. Um and pretty much all the mutants have died out. I won't say how, they explain it in the movie, but you kind of get they don't dwell on it too much. You kind of which I like that about the movie because it makes the universe feel lived in, because I do not like in movies where you feel like there is no universe besides that movie. Like with this one, it feels like you're just dropped in the middle of a universe, and there's stuff that existed before this movie and it's gonna exist after it. You know, whether as soon as the camera stops rolling, you feel like the universe continues. Um, so Logan, he's older than what we've seen him before, and he's in really bad shape, and he's pretty much taking care of Charles Xavier, and then due to some circumstances, he is kind of forced to take in this little girl and basically take her up north to find some safe area because some bad men are after her. I won't. I'll try not to spoil why they're after her, but if you've read comics or you have somewhat uh, some knowledge on comics, then you kind of have an idea of why they're after her. Her being X-23, the little girl. Um, this is the first movie in the X-Men franchise to be rated R, not counting Deadpool, of course. And they really do a lot with the rated R. Like, they don't pull their punches. They don't hold anything back. It's very gory, very bloody. Language is obviously there's a lot of F words and F bombs dropped here and there. But one of the main things why this needed to be rated R is the themes, which I know seeing decapitations is cool and whatnot, but the themes is also what makes this rated R. I don't want to spoil it, like I said, but specifically on the origin of X-23, they kind of mention it a bit in passing, and if you're not paying attention, and you might not you might not register, but if you are paying attention and you think about it, you think, whoa, that's really messed up, and that's something I don't think you could do in a PG-13 movie. Maybe you can, but it'll be very sugar coated or insinuated. In this one, you kind of see some of it, and you're kind of told what happens, which is pretty messed up. And this movie is a road trip movie. You know, Charles and Logan are trying to take this girl up to a safe area, to a sanctuary, so to speak. Um, and it's a it's a great movie. I'm just gonna say it. It's great. There's the action is great. The gore is great, and the characters are great. There's no one in this movie that I would say is annoying. Every character serves a purpose. And every actor in these roles, they fully commit. But with that being said, I do have some problems with the film. I know it's gonna be an unpopular opinion because from the reviews I've seen and from what I've heard around the internet is that everyone seems to love this. So I'm saying this is the best X-Men movie there is. I personally think X-Men 2 is the best, and this one is up there as far as the best movies in this franchise. But one of the problems I have is probably due to the fact they went rated R. And I'm not a person who cringes at violence. I could watch a violent movie, it's fine. But this movie, I think it went a little overboard. And what I mean by that is the first time you see Logan fighting, it's brutal, it's violent, and my jaw dropped because we've never seen anything like this before, right? At least not in this franchise. So when they did it the first time, you're amazed, right? What you're seeing, and then they did it again, and then again, and again. So basically, it loses its wow factor as the movie goes on, to the point in the final act. There's like a final battle. I won't say what's happening in this battle, and the battle is pretty brutal. But we've kind of seen all that throughout the movie already, so it kind of loses its impact. So to me, if they would have toned it down a bit, at least in the beginning of the movie, maybe do a few brutal scenes, not too overboard, and then we would get to the final action scene, and then they went all out, then it would make this movie 100 times better for me. But as it stands, as the movie progresses, you kind of become numb to the violence, and a lot of it, the choreography is great, and I do like how it's shot. There's none of that there's none of that quick editing that I hate, but it does get a bit repetitive. There's only so many ways you could slice a person or cut a person, and I feel like a lot of it seems the same throughout the action sequences. They're great, but then I feel like we just saw this a few minutes ago, you know. Um, and to reiterate, I do like this movie. I do think it's great, but this is one of the problems that I had with it. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna look past it, and a lot of people have because they keep saying it's the best. So that's my nitpick. But I think it's something that could have made the movie a lot better if they had toned it down at the beginning and then went all out in the end, as opposed to going all out throughout the whole movie. Because you might get battle fatigue, which I think I did. Um, what I do love about it is a lot of superhero movies. They suffer through this problem of epic finales, right? Where the villain has some scheme that's going to destroy the world, some world ending problems, right? And it kind of gets annoying. What Logan does, it's a more personal story where the world isn't going to end by the end of the movie. That's not the threat we're facing. The threat we're facing is more personal, and it makes for more character moments. It makes it more personal, like I said, and it gives it more impact. And so when stuff happens, you care about it more because you know the stakes, and the stakes are, even though they may not seem as high because the fatality isn't going to be the world, it has more impact because it directly affects our heroes, the protagonists, the people who are following through the movie. So there's something a movie like Suicide Squad really failed at, because they had the opportunity to do something amazing, but then they went with the overused plot of a world-ending disaster, which it just doesn't fit that film. So with this movie with Wolverine, they used a plot that fits the characters, and engrosses them in what's happening, engrosses you, and makes you invested, really invested in what happens and what they go through. Um, Patrick Stewart, he was great in the movie, amazing. One thing that is kind of heartbreaking because you grew up with these movies like I did. I mean, I was 8 when the first one came out, so it's pretty much all my life I've known about the X Men and the X Men movies have always been around. But to see these heroes that you've grown to love and to see them so vulnerable, so worn down, so beaten up, and you're just like, wow, it kind of makes you feel hopeless in a way because in the first X Men movies, um, Charles was always about having hope, that humanity and mutant kind could live together and all this stuff. And then basically in this movie, it was all for nothing. It really was because all the mutants are gone and the world seems to have moved on, and for the most part they seem to be doing better than when mutants were here. So that kind of says something. And it's tough to watch sometimes because like I said, you've grown up with these characters and you don't want to see them so vulnerable, but that's what makes it so good. That's what um makes you care about these characters more because they're no longer these godly figures that we can't relate to. They're human. They're more human now, and that's great. A lot of credit to James Mangold. He directed the hell out of this movie. It looks great. There's really no parts in the movie that I would cut out or edit out. Besides what I mentioned about the action, that's all I would really change. But story beats, he hits them all pretty well. One scene in particular that I really like, that you get a glimpse of it in the trailer, and that's when they're sitting down at and having dinner with this family they meet, and it's kind of nice because they get to relax and just kind of forget about everything for a while. And it's really great, because you're watching them go through hell, and now they're having dinner and they're laughing, they're joking around, and it's really great. That's a great scene. I love that scene. And the movie has more scenes similar to that. Maybe not exactly the same, but a lot of scenes that really make you feel for these characters. And I give this movie a lot of credit. Is it in my favorite? Then in my top favorite X Men movies, I think it is probably the top five. I'll probably make another video with my list and how I would rank them. But it is up there. It's not the best specifically because I think what the what I mentioned would have helped this movie a lot because it does suffer. But other than that, I think it's a great movie. You guys should watch it. You'll probably like it more than I do because everyone seems to like it more than I do. And people seem to have a problem with me not loving the movie like they do. But like again, it's my like I said, it's just my opinion. I have my problems, and that's fine. If you say this is the best superhero movie ever, I'm not gonna argue with you because I could see why it would be, but it's not mine. So that's it for this review. See you guys next time.